Hello ladies and gents, I am Diffin, and welcome back to From the Depths Ashes of the Empire Community Edition. In this episode I'm actually going to be spawning in a couple fewer designs, and that is because of the previous couple of episodes I've had so many new designs which I have unfortunately not been able to showcase. So, to start with, I do have three designs which are replacements of existing ones. That is the Leman Russ Ashes of the Empire Edition, which has a slightly improved cannon to make it, well, stand out more so from its peers, the other types of Leman Russ tanks, such as the Vanquisher and things like that. And so we also have the Vanquisher as well. And so they should have a slightly different round, which will hopefully distinguish their combat prowess a little bit more than previous. In a similar vein, we also have a adjustment of the Snow Cheetah by Koiho, and that also is going to be a slightly adjusted design to make it a little bit more improved from how it was before. Again, nice little design, and it's always great to have improvements on designs added in during the campaign as various builders see and upgrade their design as things go. I have seen a couple of other comments in the posts about other designs which also need to be upgraded. I just haven't got around to downloading them yet, but I will be getting on that hopefully for next episode. So, going into the new designs, we have the improvised AA platform by Elwina to start off with. So, it's this one. This has got loads of guns. I'll just send it against something like the Duster to start with, just because I know this sort of thing. It's good fun watching it fire an insane number of little projectiles at its target. It's actually very potent. It's pretty good against quite a lot of things. So I'll send it against not the. Yeah, what has used as Thrustercraft? Send it against the Wrecker. Wrecker's got quite a few components, should be quite good fun to watch this fall apart. Lots of fragmentation rounds, direct feed guns. And being a big AA gun, a lot of targets able to aim up and find its mark quite happily. A huge rate of fire just from a very, very small gun. It's already defeated its target, and that's through shields. It's a little bit more vulnerable than other designs, but it is also remarkably cheap for how potent its design is. I think it's exploiting 18mm rounds, I think. Oh no, it's 70. No, let's get the one. 71mm, so it's not an 18mm frag spam thing. It is still frag spam, but not utilising that exploitiness. So it is likely to face off against a load of the Steel Empire things. So let's send it against the Reaper, see how it faces off. So the Reaper's shields are causing it issue, and does have enough missiles to cause it pause, breaking off about half of its weapon systems, or no, all of its weapon systems there. Still able to fire and put up a bit of a fight, but it seems that the Reaper, which is a design well over twice the price of this, is just proving to be too much for it. But that is kind of to be expected. It is an improvised AA gun, and it is very potent, so I'm not too worried that it wasn't able to take out the Reaper on its own, but it definitely did cause it pause, and I think with the rest of the forces it will be a very good addition to, again, the response force. I want to be putting everything in that, and then I'll be utilising that this episode, or trying to. Next up we have the Emancipator, class frontline assault tank by Simillion, a 33k design. Oh, this is very, very chunky. A bit concerned about these guns not necessarily being able to face in the correct direction. It seems a lot more designed for when the explosion clipping was a thing, keeping the guns very well safe, not being in any turreted fashion. that is no longer as much a concern anymore with the improvements to the explosion mechanics. Main cannon there, also pretty potent. So this should make a fairly big mess of whatever it faces. So we'll send it against a bombard. I haven't fought a bombard for a while. Let's see how these face. So the main cannon fires. No, it did miss. So it's lots of HESH rounds as to be expected by most of vehicles at the moment. Either HESH or fragmentation. Both are very good rounds. Fortunately, yeah, as suspected, it can quite happily get disabled. So let's turn those main guns round. Ooh, they're nice rounds if they fire. So the turret is HESH and the two low guns are fragmentation. The problem is that being front mounted like that, it is quite difficult for them to face off against a single target, particularly when there is damage sustained to them. Fortunately, they are unlikely to ever be facing a single target, and so when facing off against multiple targets, those other guns will have a lot more chances to fire at things, and I believe that will be the main power, being able to fire in multiple different directions at once with very potent rounds. And it is proving to be very resilient to being struck. It's just taken another big hit at the side and top there from the cram shells, and is still just about mobile, but more importantly it is firing and defeating its target. So yeah, very good design. I think it will work a lot better when facing off against multiple opponents, because at the moment it's having a little bit of difficulty turning around. And finally we have one of Richard Dastardly's tanks, the Mark 13, the HPHE, which it's one of the few ones which I kept managing to get destroyed. Still, that is a very, very powerful round. Big railgun, big gauge, and does a lot of damage. So we'll send this against the Sentinel. Maybe a little bit close. Oh. That said, it's taken out most of the rear end of the Sentinel already, despite being spawned really close range to an Onyx Watch cram vehicle. Almost the worst case scenario for it, and it survived and is now making its escape to prevent itself from taking any further damage, staying at long range against cram, causing those cram rounds to miss. And this is armed with a railgun, so that its rounds are very nice and speedy, able to traverse the distance with ease. Damage is pretty severe. Unfortunately now the accuracy is failing a little bit, but that could very well be due to it being repaired, and it getting a bit confused as to how many components it's actually meant to have. Yeah, like the barrel is still not properly repaired yet. And that does cause issues. However, it did manage to strike out and destroy the main gun there, and that basically means that the Sentinel is completely defeated, because without that turret it has no chance of defeating this tank here, which is still very mobile and actually has enough repair capabilities to have completely repaired itself up during this combat, despite having a very, very poor start. I have very high hopes for this tank, and I believe it will do very well as a strong, stable force in my combat fleets. So, without further ado, let us go into the campaign and then spawn them in. A few fewer designs will also just speed up the process and allow me to have more battles, I'm hoping. So the response force, so yeah, the pipeline has been attacked there. So let's just jump over to this force, add in those new units. Right, so the Vanquisher is going to retrofit this. Next, want to retrofit the Lehman Russ as well. The retrofitted costs of the two Russes is actually slightly less. Interesting. And also the Snow Cheetah. Let us upgrade that as well. I'm just going to wait for this battle to begin, because I just want to ensure that everything is repaired up. Oh, and there we go. Didn't quite have enough time to do that. No matter. Let's just get everything set up and then ready for this combat. Oops, forgot to spawn all the land in. That's a bit of a shame. Yikes, this is quite the combat force of Onyx Watch here. Hopefully load of them are going to crash into each other, causing quite a significant amount of damage. Though I think the Moose is going to take the brunt of this damage again, like as in the past. So immediately we have an absolutely huge number of flying Onyx Watch craft, but all of them do fire at the Moose, as I thought there. And it, despite moving at a constant speed and direction, it actually avoids a huge number of the shells, which is a little bit surprising. Though quite a number of the cram shells are actually bouncing off the heavy armour blocks there. Though enough shots have hit and disabled the majority of the gun there, which I do believe is probably going to lower its threat level considerably by, well, knocking the number of guns down and also taking out a fair number of blocks, lowering its threat and priority on all the AI mainframes. So it looks like the designs are now aiming at various other designs of mine and just firing generally, and that could also be due to the case of a lot of these Onyx Watch craft here have guns in all directions. Unfortunately, this Shadow Monk has gone around and is getting bombarded by the rear guns there, and it's actually getting very close to being destroyed. In fact, I think it has actually just dropped below the 55%, and it takes another big hit there, which means it unfortunately is going to disintegrate before this battle is over. The rest of the battle is going quite nicely there. We have the lasers firing long range, and then just a good spread of shots going in all directions. The majority of the damage from the Onyx Watch force has already been dealt, and it's now just really just waiting for them to be annihilated at the end there. And it's not taking it particularly long. Have the Grav Ram flinging Onyx Watch craft around in all directions, which is highly amusing to watch. Otherwise, the rest of the vehicles are just shooting away, breaking all the components down. But yes, that Grav Ram is spinning Onyx Watch around all around there. Let's just watch another Onyx Watch craft go flying into the air, dancing. But even so, there's not much left of the enemy, and it's just waiting for everything to disintegrate into resources for repairs and rebuilding of forces. There we go. Right, so... oh, we did take the Shadow Monk as a casualty, which is a bit of a shame. Everything else did okay. Fair bit of repairs done, but I think we actually ended up with more resources at the end than we started with, which makes sense fighting against the Onyx Watch, due to just how ridiculously expensive most of their stuff is. Right, so I think it's time for this force to take out this last of the Steel Empire down here, and then it can start heading north. Okay, so this battle we rather outnumber them quite a lot, it seems. A lot of forces all the way around. Is that a Polaris? No. No, it doesn't look like they have a Polaris, though. Looks like they do have a fair amount of other forces. Just a couple of Scarabs and that there, so they won't go down without a bit of a fight, but nothing really too dangerous here, but apart from my own forces killing me, stabbing me in the back. Yep, that is actually a fairly major concern. A nice big hit though from the particle accelerator there, striking immediately at, I think it's the Peregrine there, completely annihilating the main guns. Or is that... no, that's not the Peregrine. I can't remember what that is. I'm thinking Bullshot, but it's not that. I'm just having a look at the detection systems though, just trying to figure out why on earth the Warthog is being targeted so heavily, though there's so much detection information available there that it's just completely impossible to identify the reason as to why that is the case there. And the Scorpion for some reason is again grinding along the ground. I do keep trying to spawn it high up in the air, but it keeps on just going down to the ground. This is causing it a bit of issue because it's, well, grinding out the main gun at the bottom and also a lot of the missiles, so it's not actually acting much as a opponent in the fight. Which is a bit of a shame, because it's a pretty good vehicle. It does also mean, though, that it's not a very big target, unlike the Warthog, which is getting bombarded by absolutely everything. Still, there's not that many of the Steel Empire forces here, so the few designs which are alive are actually getting hammered pretty hard. Warthog, though, is now going to crash into the ground, doing a little bit more damage, but it is now within repair range of friendly vehicles. Our vehicles now also being subjected to grav rams, this time from the Hexer. A highly amusing design, but unfortunately they don't have enough grav ram components to cause our forces significant harm. A few vehicles have been disabled, but otherwise everything is fine, and they are defeated in short order. Oh, we lost the M1280 in that battle. That's a bit of a shame. Also, the Scorpion was trying to murder itself. It was grinding along the ground constantly, and did that rather crazy ramming attack at the end there. Still, we've completed that fight, and so it's now time to move north. Okay, just got that. Just keep trying to move towards this force here. Right, this time I can actually pull in the force nearby. All I'll do is just have basically anything which does die in this force will get resurrected at the end of this battle, just because I've been really wanting to show all of these off and I've just completely failed. So the enemy are a really long way away. So let's just unpause and see how it goes. Annoyingly, this is not a very good showcase for the new designs which I've been adding to the forces the last few episodes, due to it being a very long range one. Hoping though this will actually increase the speed at which they all travel, so that future battles will be able to be done with this force soon. As you can see though, the enemy, actually a couple of helicopters there just driving through a hail of shells, and eventually particle accelerators just knock it out of the sky, leaving the last final tank there stationary, able to be bombarded by absolutely everything at long range. A very easy victory indeed. Right, well, all these T-tanks blew themselves up. But there we go. I did get the resources back for their destruction though, so that's not too bad. Just more of an annoyance than anything else. Let's spin on time until the next battle, which is likely to be the Twin Guard force. Right, so we have this Twin Guard battle first, and probably head over to the other one, the Steel Empire one, momentarily. Still don't really give a good showcase of the new vehicles either. Okay, so we've spawned ourselves pretty close to the Twin Guard. That's to just try and get them destroyed as soon as possible. Might also do a little bit of capturing or jumping down just to try and capture the mechs and speed up the process as well. But let us begin the battle. Straight away, and a couple of the mechs there seem to actually disable and break themselves to begin with. It's a bit odd, but it's not too much of a problem, mainly because there are the other mechs in the vicinity able to do a lot of repair with their various repair tentacles. Fortunately for me, though, the mechs are a little bit slow, and it means that the initial bombardment of munitions for our forces do seem to be doing a fairly significant number. And the munitions are also spreading out quite evenly across all targets. It means there isn't really anything particularly for me to be able to focus on. So, but everything else is doing a lot of damage. I notice that one side's taking a little bit of damage, but that's basically because all of the lasers are firing against it. You're still absorbing the hits very well, but I don't think it actually has smoke, which is the reason for this, well, quite high damage against the against the laser fire there. So start with on our side. Oh, the most of the mechs are now being heavily damaged. Let's jump down, seeing if we can get anywhere nearby. I completely miss my mark though, so just observe the battle, see if there's another opportunity for me to try and capture some additional, well, base designs to prevent that 100-second timeout, which is just really irritating. So jump down to the next design, and here we go. So jump over to the base, and this is just the task which I was just doing whenever I was doing this capturing. So it's quite messy, just leaping into the vehicle, just trying to find roughly where the AI is, because I don't know where the AI is at either the bases or the top. It's all fairly in a similar sort of location, there's not that many places it can be. So again, just jump down to the next target and just try and capture the base plates as quickly as possible to speed up the timers towards victory. And it works very, very well, speeding up the battle considerably. Okay, that worked out rather well. Took pretty minimal damage and also managed to capture several of the enemy designs, which is always good. Good, good. Move there. Head towards the Twin Guard HQ, I think. Right, the Steel Empire forces with a nice little line-up and facing off against, well, not that many at all. Yeah, this should be pretty simple. I think this is a Hexa though, so that could prove a little bit interesting with its grav ram weaponry. Let's have a look. Do you like facing off the Hexa? It is good fun. Unfortunately, the enemy vehicles do crash immediately there, which just limits how powerful this force is going to be. And the Hexa just takes a massive shell right to the rear, bypassing all the shields, hitting the back rear corner. And for the Hexa, this is actually really bad, because it's not a turreted weapon. Losing any of its wheels is going to make it very difficult for it to aim at its intended target. For once though, the Warthog is not being completely annihilated, and it is showing the enemy why it should be targeted immensely. It's firing its very, very high rapid fire weapon system, just boring straight down through the top of its targets there. Coupled with the various other munitions from the rest of our forces, the Steel Empire are being eliminated extremely quickly. Even so, they're still taking a fair bit of damage, but again it's mostly due to various collisions of our own forces. Finally, we have got this last little flyer just dashing around, avoiding the majority of shells there. And there is also the Reaper over there in the background, but that was already quite heavily damaged, and taking the particle accelerator hit there didn't do it much good either. It's mainly this very fast design which is causing the most problem, because it's being able to avoid the majority of the APS weaponry, and is actually agile enough that most of the missiles are missing it as well, and that's causing a fairly major concern. However, the particle accelerator tank gets speed on it, fires and takes out of the rear engines of it there, making it fall limply out of the sky, and it gets struck by a second barrage of particle accelerators, making it become too damaged very, very quickly. Well, the Scorpion just about survived there. If the battle lasted much longer, it would have been, well, gone below the low level and actually started disintegrating. So well done for surviving. And the Steel Empire forces facing off against the Twin Guard. Let's quickly fight this battle. It shouldn't take too long. Twin Guard force looks like it's fairly weak. Looks like it is a little bit more of elite mechs, but even so, not much of a threat. And again, if the opportunity arises, I will jump down and try and capture them. Immediately here's the load of explosions, and as the game takes a moment to load, and yes, it is a load of the Twin Guard crashing into each other, which again limits their combat prowess quite considerably. Fortunately for me, they are not too much of a threat, even firing their lasers at the various crafts, which could explode if hit in a very vulnerable area. Thankfully the Warthog doesn't succumb, and with Rambot on board, it helps with additional repairs there as well, keeping it ready to fire its main gun at the few remaining Twin Guard forces. As can be seen, they're already all too damaged, or sustained, waiting for repairs. So I decided to head towards them and see if I can just speed up the victory nice and soon. As you can see, as I get closer, quickly capture them and then they become mine. I get the resources as well, which helps, but the big thing is that I no longer have to wait for that long timer. I only managed to capture the Minotaur, so Scorpion again was very close to getting damaged, but it pulled through fine. And yeah, I think I'll end the episode there, so thank you very much for watching this episode of From the Depths, Ashes of the Empire Community Edition with myself and a different. If you did enjoy the episode, please leave a like and or comment below, as it is always great to hear from you lot. Also, be sure to check out the rest of my channel for more From the Depths videos and other games, and be sure to swing by the Discord channel for more direct interactive chatting. Also, just a quick reminder, the Exploitment 2018 is currently open at the time of recording this video, and I am looking forward to the submissions for that there as well. Otherwise, that's it for me for now, and I shall see you next time. But until then, I'm out. Goodbye!